Have you ever noticed how, as we get older, people start whispering more about health and less about living? It's almost as if, once we hit a certain age, the world expects us to shrink, slow down, sit still, be careful. But here's a little secret: you don't have to just get by after 75. You can still thrive, feel strong, and wake up each day with energy and purpose. Now, that doesn't mean pretending age hasn't changed anything. It has. But what if I told you that most of the health risks we face in our later years can actually be managed and even avoided with the right awareness and simple daily actions? You see, nearly 99% of deaths after the age of 75 are linked to just 5 main causes. And while that might sound scary at first, it's actually good news. Because if we know what those causes are, we can start making better choices to protect ourselves. And no, this isn't about fear, it's about freedom. The kind of freedom that comes from being informed, prepared, and hopeful about the future. In this video, we're going to gently walk through the 5 big reasons why people's health declines sharply after 75, and more importantly, what you can do starting today to reduce your risks and feel more in control of your well-being. Let's begin with the first one, and it's a big one: heart disease. It's the leading cause of death in people over 75, and it often sneaks up quietly. You may not feel any chest pain. You might just notice you're more tired than usual, or that walking up the stairs leaves you winded. Sometimes it's as subtle as swollen ankles or poor sleep. The thing is, the heart is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs care. The good news is that heart health is very responsive to small changes. You don't need to run miles or cut out every indulgence. Simply adding a little movement each day, maybe a slow walk after dinner, a few minutes of stretching in the morning, or even dancing in the kitchen, can strengthen your heart over time. And don't underestimate the power of what's on your plate. Colorful fruits and vegetables, foods with fiber like oats and beans, and cutting back just a bit on salty snacks or processed meats can help more than you realize. One woman I knew in her late 80s told me she started having a bowl of oatmeal every morning, not because it was trendy, but because it made her feel steady, energized, and regular. Turns out, it also helped lower her cholesterol. But it's not just food and movement, it's stress too. Your heart feels your emotions. Long-term stress, anxiety, or even loneliness can wear it down. So if there's one thing to begin today, it's giving your heart moments of rest. Breathe deeply. Sit quietly with your tea. Listen to calming music. Just 5 minutes can bring your blood pressure down and your mood up. Now, closely tied to heart health is the second cause: stroke. A stroke happens when blood can't reach part of your brain, and every second counts. The thing about strokes is they don't always look like what you see in the movies. It could be sudden dizziness, slurred speech, numbness in your face or arm, or confusion. But many strokes are preventable. In fact, most are related to high blood pressure, unmanaged diabetes, or untreated atrial fibrillation. Those little flutters in your heart rhythm that many people brush off. That's why regular checkups matter so much more than we think. Even if you feel fine having your blood pressure checked, staying on top of medications, and letting your doctor know if anything feels off can be life-saving. And don't worry if the idea of going to the doctor makes you anxious. You're not alone. But remember, this is about staying ahead, not falling behind. One simple thing you can do at home: hydrate. Many older adults don't drink enough water, and that can make your blood thicker, raising your risk of clots. Try to sip throughout the day. Don't wait until you're thirsty. Keep a glass or bottle nearby. It seems small, but it supports circulation, brain function, and energy. And while we're talking about staying alert, let's move to the third major cause: respiratory diseases, especially chronic conditions like COPD and pneumonia. The lungs age just like the rest of us. They lose some elasticity, and it gets harder to clear out congestion. But many people over 75 don't even realize their breathing has become shallow or strained until it's already serious. Have you noticed shortness of breath when doing simple tasks? Or a cough that lingers longer than it should? These are signs not to ignore. And again, prevention here is all about small, consistent habits. If you smoke, quitting even now makes a huge difference. If you don't smoke, avoid secondhand smoke or heavy pollution whenever possible. Also, keeping your home air clean matters more than most people think. Opening windows for ventilation using a small air purifier, or even just wiping down dusty surfaces can ease the burden on your lungs. And please don't skip your flu shot or pneumonia vaccine. These simple shots have helped millions of older adults avoid hospital visits, and they're usually covered by insurance or provided free at local clinics. Another helpful tip is practicing deep breathing. You'd be amazed how much stronger your lungs can become when you give them a little exercise. Just breathe in deeply through your nose. Hold for a few seconds and exhale slowly. Do this a few times a day while you're watching TV or reading. It's calming and it's good for your lungs. Now that we've touched on your heart, your brain, and your lungs, the systems that keep you alive every second, let's keep going. Because being aware of what's happening in your body isn't about fear. It's about wisdom. And the more you understand, the more empowered you become to take care of yourself, not just to live longer, but to truly live better. To truly live better. Now let's talk about something that quietly creeps into so many lives, but is often misunderstood or brushed aside. I'm talking about falls and complications from injuries, especially hip fractures, after the age of 75. One bad fall can change everything. It might seem like a small accident at first, a slip in the bathroom, a missed step on the porch, but for older adults, it can be the beginning of a serious decline. But here's the important part: falls are preventable. They're not just part of getting older. There are real practical ways to reduce the risk and keep yourself steady on your feet. One of the biggest contributors to falls is muscle loss, particularly in the legs. As we age, if we're not actively using our muscles, they start to weaken. That's why simple strength and balance exercises can be so powerful. You don't need a fancy routine. Just standing on one foot while holding onto the kitchen counter for balance, or slowly rising from a chair without using your hands. These are small actions that quietly build strength over time. Another thing to think about is your home. Do you have loose rugs that bunch up cords that stretch across walkways? A dim hallway with poor lighting? These are hazards just waiting to trip you up. You can go through your space with fresh eyes. Maybe even ask a friend or family member to help spot problem areas. A sturdy handrail on the stairs, a non-slip mat in the tub, or night lights that gently guide your way in the dark. These little changes can make a world of difference. Vision also plays a huge role in preventing falls. If your glasses prescription is outdated, or you haven't had an eye exam in a while now, might be the time. Seeing clearly means stepping confidently. And don't forget the role that certain medications can play. Some prescriptions, especially those for sleep, blood pressure, or anxiety, can make you dizzy or drowsy. If you've ever stood up and felt lightheaded, it's worth mentioning to your doctor. Adjusting the dose or switching to a different medication could reduce your risk without affecting your quality of life. It's also okay to use support when you need it. A cane or walker isn't a sign of weakness, it's a tool for independence. If it helps you move more freely and safely, that's a win. Think of it like wearing glasses for your balance. Now, as important as physical safety is, we can't overlook what many experts now call the silent threat to health after 75. And that's cognitive decline and dementia-related complications. It's not just about memory loss. It's about how our thinking, reasoning, and judgment affect every part of daily life. Many people think memory problems are inevitable with age, but that's not true. Yes, the brain changes over time, but we also know that certain habits can help keep it sharp and active well into the later years. Staying mentally engaged is like exercise for the brain. Reading, doing puzzles, learning something new, even just having deep conversations. These all challenge the mind and help it stay flexible. If you've ever tried to learn a new song, a new recipe, or even a few words in a different language, you felt your brain stretch a little. That's a good thing. Sleep is another factor people often overlook. Quality sleep is like housekeeping for the brain. It clears out waste and supports memory. If you're waking often at night or feel groggy in the morning, it's worth looking into. Sometimes something as simple as adjusting your evening routine, limiting caffeine, dimming the lights, or creating a relaxing wind-down ritual can help. There's also a deep connection between the brain and the heart. High blood pressure, diabetes, and even high cholesterol can affect blood flow to the brain, increasing the risk of dementia. Taking care of your physical health is taking care of your brain health too. And here's a powerful tool. Many people don't talk about enough social connection. Having meaningful interactions with others stimulates the brain in a way that no crossword puzzle can match. Whether it's chatting with neighbors, playing cards with friends, or calling someone you care about, these interactions keep your brain engaged, your mood lifted, and your sense of self strong. One woman I met in her early 90s swore by her weekly book club. She said it wasn't about finishing the books, it was about hearing other people's thoughts, sharing stories, and laughing together. That connection kept her mind fresh and her spirits high. And let's be honest, staying connected isn't always easy, especially if you've lost friends or live far from family. But it's worth the effort. Even starting a conversation with someone new at the grocery store or joining a small group at your local library or community center can create bonds that nourish your heart and your mind. So far, we've talked about your heart, your lungs, your balance, and your brain, the core pillars of long-term well-being. And as we've seen, these aren't just medical concerns. They're about how you feel day to day. Whether you wake up with energy, whether you feel steady on your feet, whether you feel clear-headed and connected. The key isn't doing everything perfectly. It's about noticing where you can make small improvements and committing to a gentle, steady effort each day. Let's keep going, because there's one more major factor that often gets ignored until it becomes serious, and that's infection and weakened immunity. After 75, our immune system just doesn't work like it used to. The body takes longer to respond to heal and to fight off viruses or bacteria that used to be harmless. That's why things like the flu, urinary tract infections, or even a small wound can become dangerous if we're not careful. But here's the good news. There's a lot you can do to support your immune system, even in your late 70s, 80s, or beyond. It starts with the basics: eating well, sleeping well, and staying hydrated. A strong immune system needs fuel. That means getting enough vitamins and minerals from real food, especially vitamin C from citrus fruits, vitamin D from sunlight or supplements, and zinc from foods like beans, seeds, or nuts. And don't underestimate the power of good bacteria. A daily serving of yogurt or other fermented foods like kimchi or sauerkraut can help keep your gut healthy, and your gut is where much of your immune system lives. Another essential but often overlooked part of prevention: hygiene and wound care. As we get older, our skin becomes thinner, and even a small scratch can turn into a big problem if it gets infected. So keep an eye on your feet, especially if you have diabetes. Wash cuts and scrapes right away. Keep them clean, and don't wait to get medical attention if something seems off. It's better to ask early than treat late. Vaccines also become more important with age, not less. They're not just for kids, they're protection against threats that are more dangerous in our later years. Whether it's a seasonal flu shot, a shingles vaccine, or a booster for COVID or pneumonia, these are simple steps that help your body fight back more effectively if you are exposed. And while this one may sound surprising, another powerful immune booster is simply staying emotionally well. Chronic stress, anxiety, or even depression can suppress your immune function. That's not just a saying, it's backed by science. When your body thinks you're under constant threat, it shifts energy away from long-term defense systems like immunity and digestion and focuses on short-term survival. So the more you can do to nurture peace of mind, the better your body can protect you. That might mean walking in nature, spending time with loved ones, praying or meditating, or simply laughing at your favorite old sitcom. Joy is medicine too. Now let's take a moment to pause and really reflect on everything we've covered. It might feel like a lot: heart disease, stroke, lung issues, falls, cognitive decline, infections. But all of it circles back to one very simple truth. You have more power over your health than you've been led to believe. And not by doing anything extreme or complicated. Not by turning your life upside down. But by making small, thoughtful choices each day that help your body work with you instead of against you. What does that look like in practice? It might mean choosing a walk over another hour on the couch, calling a friend instead of staying in silence, adding one more veggie to your plate, asking the doctor a question you've been holding back, drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, setting a reminder for your meds. These are simple, doable actions, and when done consistently, they change your life. Because the truth is, aging doesn't have to mean giving up your independence, your energy, or your joy. It can mean becoming more intentional, more focused on what really matters. And it can mean finding a new kind of strength, not the kind you had in your 20s, but a quieter, deeper kind that comes from wisdom, self-care, and confidence. So if you're over 75 or caring for someone who has, let this message be a gentle wake-up call. Not a warning, not a lecture, just a friendly nudge that it's never too late to tune in. Take charge and start living with more peace of mind. Because you deserve to feel good in your body. You deserve to feel safe in your home. You deserve to be respected, empowered, and well supported in this season of life, not left behind. And even if no one else around you is talking about these things, you're not alone. There's a growing community of older adults who are taking back their health one habit at a time. You are part of that. Every choice you make matters. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you. Not just for watching, but for caring. For yourself, for your loved ones, for your future. And if this video gave you something useful, or maybe just helped you feel seen, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one change you're inspired to make today? Or what's something you've already been doing that's helped you stay healthy and strong? Click the like button if this video helped you, and subscribe for more practical, heart-centered advice on living well at every stage of life. You're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years. And that's something truly worth celebrating. Here's to your strength, your wisdom, and to living your best life, no matter what the number says on your birthday cake.